Hello Virgos, how you doing? Welcome back to your energy reading here on the Astroflower. Going from the 25th through to the 31st of August. For all of you having your birthday in this week, happy birthday to you. This is like the new year. Make sure you've got your New Year's resolutions and you've got your plan of actions to put into action as you go forward. It really is a renewal of your energy cycle, a 9 monthly cycle with a 3 month pause, which is just before your birthday. That's all really starting to kick back in, and we often find it kicks back in the material side quicker than it does kick back in on the emotional side of life. If you've seen the messages from energy, it was all about getting into sync with energy. And it didn't mean sync as in sort of like meditation and so forth, although meditation is absolutely brilliant. It's nothing against that at all, and I would advise practicing it on a daily basis. But at the same time, it's like being in sync in every sort of aspect. So anything from sort of making a cup of tea to, writing a book, making sure, regardless of how big or small the task is, just making sure that you're in line with the energies and it's in line with how you feel and how you're interacting with life that is around you. And there is a reason behind this, because in the messages energy, it was talking about a big event that's coming up in the next 15, 20 days. Um, that is like a conscious shift in the general, in humans in general, associated with a geological event. That's all on the messages from energy, but I will be going into that in a deeper dive on a video on Saturday as well, to do with that. The other thing as well was the chakra sequencing. Now, the chakra sequencing was, there was a multitude of different chakras that sort of went together that don't normally go together. I'm putting it down to pole shift. I'm putting it down to the changing energies within the human, and that's probably going to bring through that revelation or that realization within our consciousness, and that shift that's going to be happening. The chakra sequencing was certainly, I wouldn't say it was all over the place, but it was certainly very intense, and a lot going on. So we'll see that in your chakra sequencing a little bit later on. We'll also pull some cards on that. If you if you would like to ask a question, let me just check, making sure. If you want to ask a question that you want me to channel the answer for, just put it in the comments section below, and I will answer it in the following week. There's a multitude of questions. I tend to answer sort of like two, maybe three at a push, depending on the type of question. But if you want a question answered, just put it in the comment section below. So thanking you very much for subscribing as well, on your way through in doing that. So let's just get on to your reading. Now, we did one last thing. We did talk about the elements of water and earth energy, and it was all connected to the crown and the root, and just being really consistent in your life, which sometimes can be difficult for you, Virgo. It's got to be said, because you're such a busy person. You're constantly doing things, you're constantly exploring new avenues. And sometimes it can be difficult to get things across the line because you're just doing a lot of different things. So you have to be a little bit wary of that. Excuse me about that. You have to be a little bit wary of that, that you don't get too distracted in trying to do too many things, and to just be constantly busy. It's okay to streamline things and just concentrate on one thing at a time. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Just under a big sneeze, apparently. Okay. So yeah, just being wary of what is possible and what is impossible. Now, I talked about that in two different videos I did. One on manifestation and one on how to um, how to get grips with the monkey mind that's constantly going on at us, and getting involved in the evident path of what we should be doing in life. And it's all part and parcel of getting in sync with the energies at the moment, and the energies that are coming through the earth and water that is coming through actually bodes incredibly well for you, Virgos. The energies within your astroflower, obviously you're a pure earth sign. You're the only pure earth sign. Capricorn is earth and water, and Taurus is earth and fire. But you have a lot of earth that runs all the way through your system. One thing you have a little less of, and that is that water side of things. So you can sometimes get stuck on something, um, find it difficult to get past because you're looking for perfection. And just remember, perfection does not exist. It exists only two moments in life, and that's in our first breath of inhalation and the last breath of exhalation. That's the only moment that perfection really exists in life. And so, just try not to get bogged down in that. Taking a little bit more time will actually allow you to go a lot quicker in life. So I think it's going to bode well for you in that sense of getting things done more than anything else. Okay, let's just go through and see what's going on from the messages from energy for you and the chakra sequencing for you. And then we're going to be pulling a few cards and answering a few questions if we've got them. So let's start with the connection to the energy, and let's see what's going on here. So we've got this connection here. Was it your sign last? I think it was your sign last week where there was it was a rhythm, getting into a rhythm of life, and this rhythm seems to be um, it's taking a lot more form. So it's coming in bigger waves, but less waves, as it were, and which is helping you to construct a lot more in your life and being a bit more sort of concrete in results, as it were. Uh, there's no particular sort of if there is a color that goes along with it, I would say it was like a golden color. And I think this is like, it could be waves of realization that this is what I should be doing. I've got to stop getting pulled off into situations that, yes, it may well be in the good, trying to help people and stuff like that. But at the same time, you might end up being the messenger that gets shot. So I would just be a little bit wary of that at the moment. Let's just see what we get in the way of a vision for that energy. Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's like when you're packing to go on holiday and you're kind of going, did I forget that? Will I need this? Will I need that? There's a lot of there's a lot of possibilities of sort of procrastination within packing to go on holiday. And it's like the energy is kind of sort of saying, look, don't worry about it. Whatever you need, you will find on your pathway. Just start. Just go. That's what it's sort of saying here. It's just time to go, time to do, as it were. And concentrating on uh, smaller amounts of things will increase the volume of the results you will get. Because you would give quality rather than quantity time to things, and quality energy rather than quantity as well, which is a really important concept to get our heads around. Quality is certainly in most areas a lot more important than quantity. Okay, so and the energy seeing the quality of life at the moment is a case of kind of going, okay, you may well forget your beach towel, but don't worry. I'm sure where you're going, you'll be able to find a beach towel. You know, it's trying to sort of say, don't worry, just put one foot in front of the other and start going. Let's see what's going on the financial side. there's an opportunity that it's like you're backing away from certain aspects of life, and or you don't want to get involved in something in life, and it could be a job or a business or a project, or working for a particular company. So it seems like there's sort of like you're kind of stepping backwards in a way, sort of saying, "Oh, I don't want to be involved in that." But as you're stepping backwards, you trip over something, and it's like you're tripping over a great idea. You're tripping over and it could be an idea for a book, a YouTube channel, sort of a business, whatever it is. It's just like kind of going. It was there all the time, and I hadn't even noticed it. It was massive, like a bus, and I still didn't notice it because it was just behind you. And sometimes, Virgo, you do like running off in a certain direction, and when you run off in a certain direction, you can kind of go, how did I get here? How did I get here? And then you turn around and you're kind of going, oh look, there's the bus. I can just get on the bus and go to exactly where I should be going. And that's what the energy is trying to encourage within your life at the moment. Just see what's going on the financial front with the job and business. There seems to be someone or something that's coming to you, and this is what you could be tripping over. It's like a contract or something that you're signing as if to sort of like a lease or something like that. Did I get that last week for you? But because it seems like it's so obvious that you should be doing this. And it could be down to getting a loan as well to invest in a business or a project and so forth. But whatever it is, it seems like you're making things concrete, or you're putting it down in writing. And it could be that you're writing a book as well. But it seems to be you're putting pen to paper here, and you're committing yourself to something. And the only reason you're committing yourself to it is because it's the evident path. If it's not evident for you, I would just taste it and see, rather than committing to it. Um, and it could be just like starting a job and seeing how it goes before you start kind of like moving house and everything like that according to the job. But whatever it is, it's an you seem to be putting into ink and confirming your direction and choice that you should be taking. So let's just see what's going on the relationship side here. There is moments where we are relationships. They're an interchangeable power system. So sometimes your partner can be the motor of the relationship, and then sometimes it could be you. And it seems like here that within the relationship of within you and the connection to another person, there's a certain degree of dependency, and I would just be a little bit wary of being too overbearing within relationships at the moment. You may want to be in that person's company 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's totally understandable. And I get it, and that's absolutely beautiful. But you don't want to smother the other person either. And I think here is as well is where we're coming back to quality rather than quantity. And when you are following your path and doing what you're supposed to be doing, they won't forget you. Don't worry. You know, and then you can have some real quality exchanges with them rather than being there constantly. I don't think you'll be doing yourself any favors if you're at someone's beck and call, as it were. So here is just a case of finding the right measure of what you give and what you receive in the relationship here. That's what it seems to be. It seems to be the key in that, and it does bring a new type of balance back into your love or your emotions and your relationships. It makes you feel a lot more confident, and it makes you a lot more confident about going after what you want to go after. It's really quite nice, and it, you're celebrating them as much as they're celebrating you once you do this, and you find your relationship arrives at a completely new level uh, of openness and joy and happiness to be with, as it were. Absolutely lovely. What's going on with the collective? You are a sociable animal. You do like connecting with a lot of people, but this week here, I do think I think you're bringing things back closer to you. So therefore, you're not so worried about the greater picture. You're much more concerned about direct one-to-one relationships with people. And in particular, it could be, with family members or with friends or community and so forth. But whatever it is, it's really going towards a quality relationship aspect rather than a quantity relationship of it all. But there's going to be enough socializing within all of that as well to give you satisfaction, as it were. Let's just see what's going on the spiritual side of things as well. There's questions. And questioning, a spiritual path and stuff like that, I think is actually a good thing. Some people sort of say you got to have faith and just believe and stuff like that. I would sort of say, don't believe, just know. And I think you're discovering that whole concept of sort of, you know, seeing what works for you in regards to your spiritual practices or your belief systems or, the metaphysical world that you deal with. And I think it's good to sort of question it in a sense of sort of saying, is this allowing me to grow? Am I getting the best out of my spirit or my energy within life? So I think it's going to be a bit of a questioning weekend. You can look at the universe and sort of asking them questions. I think you'll get the answers, and I think this is where you're going to realize that actually it's a lot easier than you thought it would be. And that's that whole manifestation video that we did as well on this channel here. If you haven't seen it, you'll find it on the channel. But it's all about keeping it simple. The application of the manifestation, if it's simple, then you've got a greater chance of getting the first stage of the ultimate goal. And this seems to be playing a lot within your spiritual side of life as well. Okay, so let's just have a look at the chakra sequencing for you. Connecting to that energy there. We've got that central point there. We go to the crown and the root. The crown and the root seems to be really good. It's doing what it says on the tin at the moment, and that is being that consistency within life. So just following the pathway, which is good for you, being very grounded, but also being very conscious about every step you're making. Where's it moving on to now? It's moving on to the solar plexus and the throat chakra. I think you need to be, it seems like you need to be honest with yourself and stern in a way with yourself as well. Stick to something until it's done. It's in the bag. It's arrived at its completion with this. And there's a definite determination. It makes you the closer you get to the goal, the more passionate you will get about it. And the more passionate you can get about it is the more determination you can put your energy into it. With the throat chakra here, it's giving that whole sort of uh, it is networking and combining with other people, but I think it's also, feeling the room, feeling the energy at the moment. using that clairvoyancy, seeing around the corner where you can preempt things, premonition sort of aspect to the throat chakra here, which seems to be playing really well. And communication is usually reasonably easy for you. But here is a case of it's communicating what you so wish to be living in life seems to be the most important thing. Expressing that to your partner, your friends, your community, the people that are around you, your job, your business, or whatever. So then you don't get lost on the pathway, as it were. Okay, it's a lot of determination to get things right, which is so within you, sort of Virgo. Just see where it moves on to now. It moves on to the sacrum as well, getting onto those fundamental things in life and getting the foundation right. And once you get the foundation right, this is where, I think you've got that at the moment, this foundation. And now you can use that foundation to build upon. And with those foundation things, so like if I want to go to the cinema, the foundation thing is that I need to know what time, what film, what day, who with. Do we eat the pizza before or after the cinema? And it's knowing those basic facts then will allow you to manifest going to the cinema. And it seems like the sacrum is helping you to do that, to recognize those foundation things that are within you. And then it goes to the third eye. And then it goes back to the crown and the throat, the crown and the throat, the crown and the root. Um, the third eye, very quick going through that third eye, but it's almost as if like the third eye is being blocked. And I think it's here is like the energy is trying to sort of say to you, really do not overthink things this week. And this, I've seen this in a lot of signs actually. It's a case of doing this week rather than thinking. And knowing the path that is good for you, just going ahead and doing it in a really, really good way. Let's just put a few cards for you. We'll put a card on your financial side, on your relationship side, but also on the general energy that's running through you as well. Let's just see on the financial side, what have you got? Page of Cups. I always say sort of constant, try and do the possible, not the impossible, but aspire to the impossible and not to the possible. And I think this sums up this card here. I think doing the possible will ultimately open up the doorway to things that may have seemed impossible last week. Once you start putting it into place, once you sign those contracts, once you get that mortgage or that loan for the business, or start or rent that shop, or start that YouTube channel, then all of a sudden the impossible can become possible. And it's what dreams are made of. On your relationship side, you get the Nine of Pentacles. Yes, it's Nine of Pentacles. It's on the cusp of being the ultimate, which is the Ten of Pentacles. But the Nine of Pentacles is a phenomenal card. It's what you're doing here is you're cultivating the Six of Pentacles on one side and the Three of Pentacles on the other. The Six of Pentacles is all about putting yourself first. And this is where I think you don't want to be doting on a relationship. You want there to be fair exchange and so forth. And that's where we get the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles is all about respecting one another, respecting another person, and them also respecting you through the actions that you do. And I think on that, on your relationship side, it resets the playing field for everybody within that. What's the energy that's blowing through you? Page of Wands. Joyful, childish, passionate energy for life. And I think you can be passionate is because you're streamlining a lot of things for you, Virgo. Incredibly cutting things down, rather than doing 10 things, only doing 2 things, but doing it really, really well. Okay, so that's all of that. Let's just go on to the questions for you. Let's just see what was going on there. Now, we did have a question from Charlotte. Hello, Charlotte. Great question, actually. And I think it actually I think a lot of people are asking this similar sort of question, as I commentated in the comments last week. If you want to ask a question and you want me to channel a question for you, just put it in the comments section, and we'll bring it forth. Usually do two or three comments, two or three questions per week. So let's just see what's going on for that for Charlotte. So the actual question, let me just read you the question. Um, I should I write that book? Did I just say earlier on writing a book? I could, yeah, you should do. I don't even have to think about that one. Uh, okay, but this is where the interesting bit comes in, because it's like it says, during working in 3D paid job, or should I absolutely release the 3D world and go full on into writing the book and guide people through my writing? Okay, let's just channel that sort of thing here and see what's going on for you, Charlotte. Okay, I think this reading for you this week here, this is a really good reading for you, actually. Um, you can get it fantastically, brilliantly right, and you get it fantastically, brilliantly wrong. Here, I think you have huge amount of potential. The problem is that you may find is that you're trying to explain too much. The simpler you keep it, the better it will be received. Okay, that's just on the book front. That's what it seems like here. I get someone who's, flitting through the pages, and people are looking and kind of going, "That's too much information for me to take in." Once you take out some of the pages, you show it to the person, and they're kind of going, "Oh right, okay, I get it." You know, should you be working in the 3D world whilst trying to do that? Do you work a lot? I think you do. I think you have a full time job. I think that's going to be difficult, and I think you can. I think at the moment, as we're going from that transition from one world to another, as it were, um, it's. I get someone. It's a little bit like the Star card or the Temperance card. The Star card has got 1 foot in water, 1 foot on the land, and I think you have this capacity here to maybe kind of go, do you know what? I'd like to work part time. And maybe that working part time will allow you to feel a little still very confident about life, still have the resources, the income, and so forth. Maybe not as much as you had before, obviously. But I think there's a sort of like the reason I say this is because you're going to need to give good block of time to writing the book. And it's not just a case of, okay, I can do an hour every night. I don't think working full time in the 3D world is a good thing. I think it's you dip in as that world is disappearing. You can dip in and take out of that world what you need. And so I think it's more of a case of being more sort of maybe it's going from full time to part time, which will then allow you that space in order to really write that book. And just, you know, keep it as simple as possible when you're trying to convey the information. I think that's when you will find you will get a better success, or people will be able to grasp a lot more information, or a lot more value from it, simply because you're keeping it simple. Because sometimes writing a book is difficult to do the last full stop, that it's done. That's the most, and I've written books, and it is difficult to do that last thing because there's always something more to say. And once you can find that sort of like simpleness to what you're trying to convey, that's when you can have that full stop to the scenario, and you will have that package to give to the world around you. Obviously, it is the plane that's arriving for you, and you're finally arriving at your destination, Charlotte. I think you've got a great, a great deal of information, or great, is it a concept or a way of being? It's a particular way of being that seems to be coming across here. And it seems to be built out of routines as well, which is really good. But yeah, but just try and keeping it as simple as possible. Working in the 3D and the new world, you know, we are still in this moment where you can have one foot in one foot in the other. But at the same time, I think it's good for you to actually just go ahead and actually do it. Did we actually pull some cards for you? I don't think we actually did we? I can't remember now. I think we did. You'll tell me in the comments. But yeah, I by the looks of what energy is sort of trying to sort of say to me, I think you do need to have block times of doing that work, and it's maybe a little bit difficult to have those blocks of quality time if you're trying to work full time within the 3D world. So there you go. Thanking you very much, Charlotte, for that sort of question. Also, thanking everybody for being here. Thanking you very much for the subscribing, liking, and sharing, and all of that malarkey. Having the confidence to join in the Astroflower. Don't forget about the messages from energy and all the other energy videos that we do. An incredibly long one this week. Do apologise about that, but it's got to be done every now and then. In the meantime, that's all for me left to say is don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy.